Hey guys, we're on our way to Tennessee, Nashville, and I'm gonna go do a speaking gig over there. We're flying on our way over there, but I'm reviewing the podcast with Neel, and I want to just give you a disclaimer. The first half of this podcast, my voice was off, the mic gave up on us, so I had to retake my voice. It's not gonna be perfectly synced, but we did our best with our marketing team, so enjoy. It has a lot of value. Please like and subscribe, and see you on the next one. Well, one of the biggest things I've learned that you're gonna run into, or if you haven't yet, is you got to do a lot of cleanup as you grow.
Yeah.
So I have Bobby in my corner, Bobby Castro.
Yeah.
And he was telling me, like, Albert, right now is the time. You know how he gets? He gets all motivated.
PMA.
Like, Albert, you gotta cut all the bad people now. And he starts, like, he gets pumped up about it, and he's like, this is the perfect time to clean up. So he's like telling me, and I'm like, Bobby, well, what you want me to just should I just get rid of everybody?
Yeah.
And he's like, yes, whoever doesn't fit, get rid of him. And then he told me it's all about culture, and when you and right now the company is like very, very clean. I'm not gonna say 100%, but it's very close. Guys, welcome to Driven Channel, and I'm really excited today because I'm here with Neel. And Neel, you're really special to me, and I mean, it's heart to heart because I saw you come up from 300,000 in 2018. You called me, and I'll share the story, but really quick, I just want all of you guys watching this. Neel, 2018. I started doing some coaching because somebody asked me, hey, Albert, how much have you coached me? And I didn't know. I was like, nobody's asked me to coach them. I'm a mortgage guy. So I'm thinking, well, and we're walking through Universal Studios, me, Syl, and Natalia eating the churro. And I remember Natalia holding the churro. And I'm thinking, well, $5,000. And then all of a sudden, more people start hitting me up after that. And then one day, I don't know if you remember exactly how it worked out, but one day you reached out. You're like, hey, I'm interested in coaching or whatever.
I think it was part of the Driven ticket. Like you did something. Yeah, it was like if you bought the best ticket.
Oh, that was 2018,
yeah,
right?
You get a coaching session.
Okay.
Yep.
2018. Okay, so I remember when I met you, you're like, I'm doing 300,000. I'm doing the old school ways of getting business, and I'm kind of stuck. And long story short, last year you broke $4 million in income as a lender. Yeah, so first of all, very proud of you. Very happy to have you here. I have a bunch of stuff I want to go over. So welcome to the show.
Thanks, bro. Thank you.
And if you can start by just telling people, like, how did you get into the mortgage industry? How many years have you been in it? Yeah, and why did you get in it?
So I'm in the mortgage business for almost 20 years. So 19 years since 2003. Got into it just straight out of college because before the housing market crashed, it was just a crazy party in mortgages. So people, I got out of college, was working at a bank. My brother was in mortgages. He's like, yo, you got to come over here. We're doing some crazy things. It was like a frat house, like people partying, doing all kinds of bad things, making a lot of money. And then the market was great for a few years. Then it crashed, and everybody left the industry. They went and got regular jobs. They stopped doing mortgages because it was pretty bad for 08, 09, 10. And we just stayed with it. My brother and I just stayed with it. And then we ended up growing the business slowly thereafter, getting more people, and it just kind of got better year after year after the last crash. So I've been just in the mortgage business working. And then in about, I think it was 2018, I was just like stuck at that level, that 300K level, 400K, and was like, yo, like I'm getting burnt out because I was doing a lot of leads, and I was doing a lot of outbound chasing real estate agents, trying to get them to refer me business. But I was just like every other lender. Like even like the way you conduct yourself, the way you dress, everything was like every other lender. And I started to see people doing it different, like through Instagram, through content. And I was like, shit, maybe I could change this up. And honestly, when I met you, started learning more things about marketing. I didn't know what even marketing was. I was just doing advertising and sales. So once I learned how to do marketing, the business just took off. So I started to go, from doubled my income and then quadrupled it and then doubled it again. And it just kept growing. We added a bunch of people to our team, and it's just continued to grow since then.
How did you find me?
So I think it was a a post was shared about Driven 18. So that was the second Driven. I didn't know about the first one, but I saw the second one, and it was like Grant Cardone and Patrick Bet-David and all these people that I admired as entrepreneurs. They're like, oh, they're all speaking in LA at the Driven event. And I was like, oh shit, I need to get tickets, and I need to learn about this. So that's how I first met you, was that Driven 18.
When you got stuck at 300,000, how many years were you kind of stuck doing 300? Because you know what I mean? I see a lot of people that are so proud of their 30 years of experience, and I'm like, you should be embarrassed being at the same spot for 30 years.
Yeah, so 2012, 2013, 2014, 15, 16, 17, so like 8 years. 8 years, same little bit of fluctuation, but not much difference. And you're just kind of like, if the market's good, if rates are good and the housing market's good, I make a little bit more. Yeah. If the market's bad, I make a little bit less. And you're just you're like a victim of whatever's happening in the economy. And you don't really have a business, you know? So that's what I was doing. And some people would be happy with that income. Mm-hmm. But I knew I was capable of doing a lot more, because just the books I read, the content I was watching. So I think a lot of people like have this feeling inside, like, shit, I could be doing way more than I'm doing right now. And some people just sleep on that for years. Mm-hmm. And it's crazy. You think like, oh, how does a year go by? A decade can go by with you thinking you're capable of doing more and never acting on it. So that's where I was stuck.
What do you think was the key? 2018, 2019, going from 300,000, I think you went from 300 to a million.
Yeah. So it was actually learning about content marketing, learning how to do marketing, and going to Driven 18. So I went to Driven 18, met some people, and then I learned from guys like Ty Lopez, Patrick Bet-David, Grant Cardone, Brad Lee. All these guys were talking about, hey man, you guys got to think bigger. You need to do this. You need to do this. And then I started reading more books about this topic, and I was like, shit, I need to start doing it. And so what happened for me is I just started to take action. So the advice you gave me in the first coaching was like, hey, get a videographer and come shoot a video at the event. Make sure you bring the video man with you, because people are going to think, oh, who's this guy with the video guy? He must be, important. So I remember going on a website and just finding a video guy randomly. And turned out he was a good guy. He still works with us today. His name's Eric. Yeah. But he came with me to the event. And so I ended up getting footage with people, making a cool video afterwards, sharing that with my my business partners, all my clients. And then from there, that was the very first video I did, was at Driven 18. Yeah. Prior to that, I never did any video. Yeah.
And people don't get this, but like, for example, when I got the Ferrari, I got it to show off, because then it gets more attention. I remember I got a bodyguard, security, and I didn't even need security like years ago. But I just got security because I figured if somebody's following me with a camera, and then if I have a security guard, people are going to be like, who the fuck is this guy? So I did that, and it just started getting more people like, who's him? And then people started coming to me, and then it opened so many doors to do business, to sell mortgages or sell insurances, whatever you're selling. So when you did that, though, like, most people are kind of not good when they start, and they're shy to be in front of the camera. They don't feel comfortable. I know it's like different for a supermodel woman with all these curves, or a really good looking guy to be on camera, or an actor, people like that. Me and you are like, I consider ourselves like normal looking people. We're not models or any of that. So when I started, I remember I was kind of a little nervous and worried about what people would think. When you started, when you did your first videos, did you feel confident the first time? And how did you get better at it? Because now you get a lot of views in everything you do.
Yeah, so in the beginning, I was really bad. Like, if I want to go back and watch those videos, it's hard to watch. It's really bad if you can't even watch your own video. Like, you're watching and you're like, shit, I can't watch this. That's how bad it was when I first started. So it was just reps. So you start doing it, you're not comfortable. You keep stuttering. You can't even be yourself. And you're just thinking in your head, like, I look stupid. People are going to think this is dumb. What do the people think of me? All this kind of thing, right? And then after that, after a while, you just get over that. And I think it just takes reps. Is that what it was for you? Just doing it more?
When I did my first live, I had like 4 or 5 people on. And I remember I put vodka in my drink. And I'm going to get on this. When I finish my drink, I'm going to get on the live. We're just walking down the hill. And then I said, well, let's go back up. I need to get one more drink. And then I had another drink. And then she asked me, hey, when are you going to get on the live? And then that's how I did it. And I watched the replay, and I felt really bad watching it. Couldn't watch it. So I made a rule, a principle, where I wasn't allowed to see my replays, or else I would get discouraged. So I kept doing it. And practice just made me better. And I just kept doing it. I do one shot and I post it, and I just let people react to it.
Yeah, and so that was a good strategy, because I would analyze everything, and then I would be like, oh, I look stupid, or you get in your own head. So I just started doing more of it, and it got easier as you go. And then another thing I think people say is, what if you're an introvert? Yeah. So I'm an introvert. I'm not really out there, popular guy. I was pretty much a nerd growing up. I didn't really want to do the networking thing. But here's what I found out. It's actually, even if you're an introvert, if you have the knowledge to share and you're confident in your knowledge, you can share it, and then you become more confident. You become more extroverted. So side benefit of doing video and social media is your confidence goes up. You walk around with your head high. Yeah. You're shaking hands. People treat you better. That's the best part. So a lot of people complain that the clients and all these people treat them poorly, like a vendor. And they said, this client's an asshole, right? Once you start putting out the content and you build your own brand, people treat you better. You have respect. So they ask you, hey, do you have time to meet with me today? Hey, I know you're busy, but could you help me with my deal? And you're like, yeah, dude, I'd love to help. And so now there's a mutual respect between the client and you, or the realtor and you. And then now you want to do more business. Yeah. And so as you get treated better, you want to do more. I think the people get upset when they get treated bad, but that's their own fault, because you're putting out that image in the market. Yeah. If somebody say, hey, Neel, what do you do? I say, I create content. I also do mortgages. I also help people buy homes, real estate, right? But the thing is, if I don't have attention or clients, it doesn't matter. So like if I come to you and I say, I'm a mortgage guy, everybody's a mortgage person, everybody's a realtor or mortgage person. How many people are a content creator? How many people are good at marketing? So that's the difference. And then now as the market shifts, all the stuff that you taught me, all the stuff I talk about all the time is going to be really important right now, because not everybody can do it.
So the last 4 years, would you say that it's not that you learned so much more knowledge, like you didn't become such a better loan officer? You're like pretty much the same knowledge-wise, but you just got a lot more known. You think that was the key part?
Yeah. So I'd say I did a post about this the other day. I said visibility beats ability. So you could be the best LO, the best realtor, but the thing is, if nobody knows about it, what does it matter?
Nobody cares about it?
Nobody cares, and they don't respect you. So you have to put that information out there, and you have to do it a lot. So a lot of people say, how do you build your Instagram following? Well, go to my Instagram. I post 900 times, 900 videos. And I had my account messed up. I had to start over at one point.
I remember that.
Yeah, so it's like I start from zero and post 900 videos, and then you get better. But people are posting, 5, 10 videos. Hey, it doesn't work. Well, you didn't do enough, So I think that's the difference, is like just putting in the work for a long period of time.
So when you create content, do you create content every day, or do you time block for a day, or you just film that day and then get the content for the whole week? How do you make space for content? And then how do you make space to make those $4 million bucks?
So we just block it. So what I'll do is I will do content 2 times a week at certain times. And then we block our time. So we do sales activity, we do training, we do prospecting, we do updates with clients. We're doing hiring, right? So we're trying to do all these different things and just put them in buckets. So when I try to do everything all at once, it's too overwhelming, but I just try and put it into blocks, and it works better. And another thing I found out is if you don't make time for the marketing part, it doesn't matter. Like, so in the beginning, somebody said, dude, your business is kind of chaos. You don't have the best operations, right? Well, who cares? Like, if you don't have clients. So what solves all that problem is just getting more clients. They don't, as long as you guys will figure it out on the back end, they don't know. So I would get all these clients coming in, and then behind the scenes, it wasn't good yet. I didn't have the right processors, all the workflow, but we figured it out as we got going, So a lot of people spend all the time trying to figure out perfect. I know guys that are working on the best CRM, the best thing. Well, the fucking CRM is an Excel spreadsheet. Yeah. That's all you need, right? Why use Excel? Fuck it. What do we need to buy? Like, so yes, I got a CRM. We barely use a CRM. The best CRM is go get more fucking business. You know what I mean? Like that's the real.
Why do you think, speaking of that, why do you think a lot of people want to get so much training, like unlimited training? They want to learn all the guidelines. They want to get the best CRM.
It's avoidance. They don't want to do the work of getting the client. So even though you might say, I want business, you're avoiding the thing that gets you business. So let's one time I was doing a leadership event, and they said, list everything you do for a week, every day. What are the 3 things you do that make you money? And focus on those 3. And then the other things we need to delegate, hire people for, and stuff like that. So I'm still working on that right now. I don't have a perfect operation by any means, but I'll tell you what, I'd rather drop a few balls and have a basket full of balls. So, you know, like balls are coming in, I got a basket, it's full. Yeah. Some people don't even they never even try, you know, and I dropped a few, but I still got a lot, you know, and a lot of people just want to hold one thing and make sure they never drop it.
And I know we talked behind closed doors. Well, before we started, we talked about how we're doing better. You're doing better than last year. Like you didn't slip. Like a lot of these people are slipping right now. They're scared. There's a lot less competition, but you're still killing it. So I want to stick to those 4 million, like the 4 million of income, because not a lot of loan officers actually make 4 million. I don't know many. I don't know a few that make 4 million doing that.
And I'm in direct lending, so we get paid W-2, so that's like net. So a lot of people, oh, you know, that's probably gross before expense. No, that's after paying staff. That's after paying expenses, you know, and so that's the difference there, you know what I mean?
So speak about 2018 to 2019, 2020, 2021. How many employees did you have 2018 versus now?
So in the beginning, I had like 2 or 3 people, just a processor, maybe an admin, and my family worked with me. And then now we have 23 people. So we just continue we just add people slowly. Now I should have more, but the thing is, like you said, I run into a problem with the not enough time. Yeah. So I'm doing all these things, and I figured out if I keep growing my personal brand, if I keep doing the marketing, I can hire whenever. So right now, somebody said, like, what's the value of a personal brand? The value is you can open up your phone and say, hey, I'm looking to add 3 guys or 3 gals, and send me a DM, and then now you have all these people to choose from on demand. Or we have this new program that can help buyers. Send me a message. Now you have all this business. Yeah. So it's kind of like you can turn it on or turn it off whenever you want. Yeah. But you got to keep that that's the number one asset, I think, is having the personal brand.
So when you say 23 people, how many of those are originators and how many of those are staff?
It's 15 originators, and then the rest are like processing assistants, things like that.
And so like from start to finish, Monday through Friday, how's your day like? Do you have a power schedule that you follow to the T? And also Saturdays and Sundays, do you work?
Yeah, so I wish I had more, I wish I had it down better. But right now, I'm working pretty much, not like full weekends, but I'm still doing something. So I'm working on a project. We're doing an event or we're doing something else and I want to work on it. So I try and balance, work life, whatever. But that's the biggest struggle right now is like having enough time for everything. Yeah. So I pretty much follow a schedule of like, I get to the office at 8 in the morning and then we work till about 7 o'clock at night. So I'm working, 10 hours? No, 11 hours, something like that a day, weekdays. Mm-hmm. And then on the weekend, just a couple hours here and there. But during the day, I try and block the time. So we're doing either sales, operations, or marketing. And we try and block the time.
So exercise, do you work out? So working out and marketing, is that part of your day?
So I try and go to the gym before I go to work. Because if I don't do it before, I'll never do it. Mm-hmm. So I go like 7 a.m. before I go to the office.
Well, you know what I notice about you, about your life, is that you like to go to Miami on trips. You take your family. I see you at dinner like almost every day with your wife sometimes, with your business partners. It seems like you don't look at work as work. Is that kind of true?
So that's the difference. Like someone say, how many hours are you working? But not all of it feels like work. So if we're like doing stuff, like for example, if we go to Miami, I'm going to meet with some people for business too, right? And I'm also going to bring the family if I can. Or we'll try and incorporate both together. Yeah. And then also, like, I don't know what it is, but when you are getting satisfaction, so like right now we're working. I come down here, we met with people, now we're doing a podcast, now we're going to do some training. And this is like work, but to me it's also fun, right? So that's going to drive you to do more. So when people say, I can't put in that many hours, it's because you don't like what you're doing. Like you're not burnt out. You're just burnt out on being treated like shit and doing stuff that's below your pay grade. Yeah. So like when you do work that's below your pay grade, you're tired all the time. You don't want to work anymore. When you do work where you're being valued and you're getting like actually moving forward, you have so much energy. So right now I could work fucking 24 hours a day. I don't care because I'm doing things that are moving forward. Like success makes you have more energy. Yeah. I think that's the thing. So a lot of the guys that complain about the hours, that's because they're not doing the right work. Mm-hmm. They're doing the wrong. They're not getting any success.
I'm sure it feels good getting to your office, driving your Lambo and working and driving off.
You know what's funny is yesterday I was at so in our community, we live in a nice gated community, and they have a nice clubhouse with the gym, right? So we go to the gym. There's a realtor there who's one of the top 10 agents in our market. And I remember reaching out to this guy all the time, and he never talked to me. You know, he almost was rude to me many times. Very rude, doesn't want to talk. Yesterday, I'm walking out of the gym, and he goes, "Hey, is that your car?" Because I park it right at the door, you know? And
I used to do that across the street.
Yeah, so I just leave it at the door. So I learned that from you. So he comes out, he says, "Hey, is that your car?" And then I go, "Yeah." He goes, "I was thinking about getting one of those. You know, how do you like the Lambo Urus?" And we were talking about the car. And he goes, "Oh, what do you do?" And I would say, "I'm a lender. I actually reached out to you many times, David. Remember, my name's Neel." And he goes, "Oh, yeah, I think I've heard of you. You know, we should get together. We should have lunch together." So the guy who basically told me to fuck off for a decade, now he's asking me to go to lunch because of a vehicle. You know, so people like to make fun of it, but the bottom line is people treat you better the more successful you are. Yeah. Now, it could be fake and I can't afford it, but in my case, like somebody said, "Hey, how much is the payments on your car," or whatever, you know, and then I send them a picture of the title. You know, like people they think that it's just a facade, but after a while, they realize it's real. So that's why I like to show lifestyle. It's not really to flex, but it's just like people can see that it's real. So if you're doing really nice things and you're taking care of your family and you have a nice vehicle and you have a nice office, you have nice people in your life, and you show it, how can you argue with that? Like, it's proof, you know what I mean? After a while, haters say something for a few months, but after a year of doing that, they can't say shit.
They've been hating on me for a long time. That's why I say things like, when I say I use my Ferrari like a prostitute, and some people were like, "How can you say that?" And that you shouldn't say that. And people are like, you shouldn't say that. You're in the mortgage industry. You're in the real estate industry. And it's funny. I'm just like, look at the results. I think the results speak for themselves. And the story you said, it's like my story with my first Ferrari, where I got an agent, a realtor. He didn't want to go with me. They didn't allow me in his office. No lunch. And when I got it, then he wanted to go to lunch with me. Then I get 3 deals, make $45K, paid for the Ferrari the whole year. So it works really good. We have Jerry and Tracy right here watching, and they have a Lambo, and they're second place in the company right now.
Yeah, so people want to work with people who are successful.
Yeah.
That's it. They treat you better, and they want to send you business.
How many more conversation starters or relationships do you think you created? Or how much money do you think your Lambo has made you?
Millions. I don't even track it. It's because it starts conversations. People treat you better. And then the people who don't know, they don't see it. So like, even if you live in a community where somebody says, "Well, I'm not going to see the car." Yeah. Well, they're going to see it on social media. Yeah. And it's not like you're taking a picture in front of the car. Like, you know, you could do that too. But for me, it's just like, you're just in it. Yeah. So you're doing a video and they see it. They see the emblem on the headrest. Yeah. Or like, you know, whatever. It's just whatever. It's just in your content.
I was looking at the notes from 2018, like the first time we met. And I remember one of my advices I gave you was get a Rolex.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
You have a Rolex.
Yeah.
And people sometimes they think, or the haters, they think that it's not all about that. And they just criticize those things. And you're a plain example. You're a big example of somebody that just went out there and executed and created 4 million as a loan officer, which this should show anybody that this is a great industry. And speaking of the industry, why do you think a lot of loan officers are doing really bad? I'll give you an example. I know plenty of them from the past that were closing 20 a month, and they're doing 6, and they have teams, and they're only doing 6, and out of the 6, 4 are refi. That's scary because those 4 refis are not going to be here next month. So it's just going to continue to shrink and disappear, and these people were really riding the refi boom at 2%. So now all of a sudden it changes, and they're hurting, and I see it as a great opportunity to go out there because there's so much more business now for us. But how do you see that? Why do you think these loan officers in the industry are kind of struggling right now?
So they didn't focus on creating relationships. So what happens is the product sells itself. So a lot of people said, "Oh, I'm a great loan officer." Well, you're just an order taker. So rates are 3%, 2%. People want to buy houses. They want to refi their house. So you just have to answer the phone. You know, you can do some ads. You can maybe have a few people. You can call your past clients, And so that's not real business. That's not real marketing. So a lot of people ignored the marketing. I remember it was crazy busy. I could have made at least another extra couple $1 million in doing loans, but I decided to still do the marketing because it was that much. That's how much opportunity there was. Literally everybody in the country could get refinanced. So it was just how much can you handle? And so at some point I just wanted to make sure I refinanced my clients, because you don't want them going elsewhere because now they become somebody else's client. Yeah. So I take care of ours, but we didn't do any ads or mailers or anything for outside clients for that. I just focused on the purchases and the marketing. So I think you'll see now when refis went away, people just don't have those relationships. And as you'll see now going forward, if you have the marketing and you have the relationships, it's going to work even more.
Yeah.
So used to be 20% of the people do 80% of the business. And then the rest of the business gets distributed amongst everybody else. Now it's shifting to 90-10. 10% of the people are going to do 90% of the business. So to get in that 10%, you just have to have relationships and marketing.
Yeah, it might even get like 95-5.
Yeah, and that's going to squeeze out a lot of people. But here's the thing. Last month, it was the record high for number of licensed realtors, number of licensed loan officers, the most. Now, think about mortgages. For the entire United States, how many mortgages were done previously? $4 trillion in mortgages. This year, they expect 1.7, 1.8 trillion. So the market shrunk, but we have a all-time high of loan officers. So a lot of loan officers are going to leave the business. A lot of loan officers are going to struggle, but the ones that do good are going to do even more business because they're going to take more relationships.
How do you see the market? Do you think the prices are going to drop?
So I was at a conference the other day and Patrick David was speaking and he said real estate price is going to drop 30%. I think that's a little aggressive.
Yeah, it's a little aggressive, yeah.
Yeah, so I think prices will cool off because you're already seeing demand cool off. But remember, when you see these guys list a house for $1 million and then they have to cut the price, that's not, the list price is not the sales price. It's the actual closed sale, right? So when you look at the closed sales, we haven't really seen prices come down that much, just a little bit. So I think 10% maybe you see a pullback. Yeah. But people are moving money into real estate. So you see even big hedge funds, big Wall Street guys, stock market's down about 20% this year. If you're in tech stocks, it's down even more. People took that money and a lot of them put it into real estate. So everybody thinks last recession, real estate prices crashed. They think, oh, we're in a recession. That means real estate price. That's not the way it works. Certain assets do better than others. And so I think going forward, real estate's going to do better than stocks and other things.
Yeah, I also think like 10, 15% more or less.
Yeah. So I don't think like you're going to see a crash like you did in the last thing. So these people who are talking about that, maybe you see a crash in other places. Like you already saw in the tech sector, they're laying off people. Stocks have crashed. Crypto, it's crashed a little bit. But real estate, we haven't seen that.
Now, talk about for all the business you do, how many, I bet you have a lot of clients. And so do you talk to all of them, or what's the percentage of clients you talk, or do you meet them face to face? How do you handle all those clients?
Do this when I get a new client from a referral partner or who somebody reaches out to me. We schedule a meeting, and it's usually Zoom, because during the pandemic, nobody wanted to come meet in person, so we started doing everything on Zoom. So somebody picks a time, and they meet with either me or the loan partner, and it depends on the schedule. And so we do a call, introduce ourselves, tell them how we're going to help. Here's the problem a lot of loan officers have right now. They said they get treated poorly because they're going to do way better than somebody else, and the client goes with somebody else. Well, how did the client know? How are they supposed to know? So what I do is every call we explain the 3 things we're going to do to help the client. We're going to help you get pre-qualified. We're going to help you if there's a problem during the loan. We're going to help you solve it. And we're also going to help you get your offer accepted, because it's a tough market in real estate, right? They want to make sure the loan is solid. So these are the things we're going to do to help you. So we do that. And then if you do that call, you have less people like leave. Because if you just send them to an application, that everybody can do that, right? But that's like Quicken Loans, Rocket Mortgage, You can just go to the website, type your information in. The difference with us is you're going to get a real person, a real expert. So I want to make sure we do that call. It may only take 10 minutes. 5-10 minutes, and then we move it forward to a production partner or a processor. Someone's going to help them with the paperwork, and they just keep doing those calls.
Now, do you use a CRM, or how do you remember all the people you speak to?
So we use Salesforce. There's a CRM called Jungo. It's in Salesforce. So when the lead comes in, I put the notes in, and then we do that. We send emails out and do all that stuff.
And when you speak to clients, is there like certain things you do different? Like maybe, what do you find is the most effective way of keeping them engaged, happy with your service? Do you use like video, email, text? What's the best communication?
So we ask them, what do you prefer to be contacted? Do you want text, email, phone call? Most people prefer text nowadays. So we do the initial call, and then we text them with updates. And then a lot of people need guidance along the way. So they have a question about the paperwork, and they can't get a hold of the loan officer, right? Or they have a question about this or that, and they can't get a hold of somebody. Yeah. So one of the things we tell people is just answer your phone.
Yeah.
Like, how many guys in your business, or we've all seen them, right? They think they're too good to answer the phone to the clients. They're out here partying or doing this. Like, take care of the clients, like, and then they'll take care of you. The work will take care of you. So we just try and over communicate, but we ask the client, what do you prefer? Do you want this, this, or this? And then the other thing we do is along the way, my brother does a really good job of this. He sends little gifts. So let's say we did the pre-approval. He sends a gift to them, or after closing, sending gifts. 1 year after close, 1 year after closing, here's the 1 year anniversary. Congratulations. Send a video or a gift. One other thing we do is if there is if the client's on social media. So what I do is every time we get a client in our loan office, get a client, most of the time the client is on Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn. So find the client and follow them, and then they'll follow you back. And now you're going to stay in contact with them through your content.
You use Instagram like your CRM?
Yeah, big time. So on the back end of Instagram, if you go to business.facebook.com, it's like a CRM that's connected to your DMs. You can put notes about clients, you can tag them, you can put flags on certain more important ones, and then you can also leave your send messages and stay in contact. And if you can't do it all, you can hire people to help you with that.
Yeah, and it's kind of cool because when you have all your clients or database on you follow them.
Yes.
Then it's kind of like when you put a message out, everybody's like updated with everything that's going on.
And then also your clients have like cool things that happen, like their kids graduate or they had a baby, and now you can say congratulations. You can engage with them, and it's a lot easier. These old coaches like the Tom Ferry old school.
Yeah.
They say make your calls.
Yeah.
Just call everybody. What if you haven't talked to the client in 2 years? What are you gonna call? Hey, Bobby, what's up, man?
Yeah.
Hey, send me a deal. It's just awkward. But it's not awkward to send a DM. It's not awkward to leave a quick comment. So I think clients prefer social media because it's not weird.
Yeah.
I can DM you. We could be talking, and then you ghost me for 2 days. But that's okay because I know people understand. People are busy. Yeah. So it's a lot more comfortable and easy.
Yeah, I think social media, like DMs, are a lot more warmer and welcoming than text messages. I think text messages are more like...
One thing I noticed you do, which it makes it very personal, is you send a voice memo.
Yeah.
So you'll hit the mic button and say, hey, Neel, what's going on, man? Hope, this was badass or something. And then it only took you it's probably faster than typing it.
Yeah.
And then it makes the other person feel special. Like, oh shit, he reached out to me.
It's funny because it does feel like the other people feel special.
Yeah.
But the real reason why I do it is
time.
because I'm so busy. Yeah, and I hate typing. And I'm driving out. Sometimes I'm driving or I'm walking. So as I walk, and I don't walk slow. Like if I want to get from one place in the office to the next place, I almost like run. So I'm always running through the office and when I'm walking fast, I'm sending voice notes. So it's a lot easier.
Yeah. So this DMs is a gold mine. Can I give you guys a quick strategy?
Yeah.
So DMs have been huge for our growth. And here's what we do for DM. We go into Instagram stories, right? And I'll say, hey, if it's a goal of yours to buy a home in 2022, DM me the word home. Or we do a yes or no. If it's a goal of yours to buy a house, or if it's a goal of yours to buy your first rental property in 2022, DM me. Now they DM you, all these people, right? Now the reason why they DM you is because there's a lot of people in your audience that want to buy real estate, but they're not ready to call you. They're not ready to go apply. Mm-hmm. They won't do shit unless you ask them. And it has to be something very simple. So we say, hey, raise your hand. Would you like to buy a house? And they say, yeah, I'd like to buy a house. They tap it. And then now you send message to them in the DM. Hey guys, I'm hosting a free webinar. A webinar is just a Zoom.
Yeah.
So you go to Zoom, make a free webinar, and then you send them the link. So on Thursday, I'm doing a Zoom. and I'm going to answer all of your questions, and I'm going to tell you some important programs that are going to help you. And then we get all these people to join the Zoom, 50 people. In the 50 people, honestly, most people are not going to buy, right? But there's going to be 3 or 4 real deals in that thing, and it's free. You just have to ask your audience. But the problem is most LOs and realtors say, call me for all your mortgage needs.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to call you. They don't even know what mortgage needs are. Mm-hmm. Call me for all your real estate needs. Nobody knows. So you have to make it very conversational. Like, hey, have you always wanted to buy a house? Well, if 2022 is your year to buy a house, send me a message. I'm going to help. I'm doing a free class. And make it very like conversational, passive. And then we get all these people on webinars. We've been doing that this year and killing it.
How do you feel about video? Because sometimes I DM, I text somebody, or even call them, and they don't answer.
Yeah.
But then I'll send them a video, and not too long, because then people,
nobody watches it.
Like somebody, especially like a billionaire, doesn't want to watch a 1 minute plus video. So I noticed, like, I did this to I'll say Oscar. So Oscar de la Hoya.
Yeah.
So I sent him a video, and that's how I got him to answer me. Do you ever find that videos work the best, or
Yeah.
what do you think?
Yeah, so I think voice memo or video. So video works the best because it shows you're real, and it shows you're not weird. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people don't respond because they think this is going to be awkward or weird. So if you send a video and you're a nice, normal, and everything's cool, they get to see that that's normal, and then they respond. So we do that same thing. We send, like, I would say the sweet spot is 30 seconds. People will watch the video, and then they respond to you.
Yeah.
And they can watch it whenever they want. So maybe they're busy. Maybe
Yeah.
the reason why he didn't answer is because he's in the middle of a meeting. And then when he goes on a break, he can look at the video and say, oh, shit, and then he'll reply.
Yeah, and speaking of coaches, and a lot of these more experienced, kind of the old school coaches,
Yeah.
a lot of them, they're not actual active producers. So how do you feel about these coaches? Because there's a lot of coaches now. There's really known ones, but then there's like hundreds and even thousands of other wannabe coaches.
Yeah.
But they're not even actually active producing.
Yeah.
So what I like to do is, which I think it's more effective, is having my top producers teach what is working for them right now.
Yeah.
As opposed to having a trainer that doesn't produce shit, but he's going to train people. So because people that are actively producing now, they're winning now. So that's who I want to learn from.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
So there's guys at the highest level, like Tom Ferry, these guys, those guys know what they're doing.
They built a brand
because
too.
they built a brand. But the guy, if you hire Tom Ferry, you don't get Tom. You get one of the coaches. The coaches haven't sold real estate maybe in a while, so they don't know what's working right now. And so I agree with you. Like the people who are producing right now, let's just share the information with everybody else. So one of the big things is I noticed people in mortgage and real estate, they love the culture and the collaboration. That's something I learned from you guys. What you do here is everybody's always helping each other.
Yeah.
There's a good culture. And most mortgage companies and real estate companies, everybody's on their own. It's like, I don't want to give this idea because it's mine. And everybody has a scarce mindset. But when you in an organization where everybody's sharing, everybody grows together. So whoever's winning, let's hear about it. Like, let's go. So that idea I just told you about the DMs, it's working today. I just did it this week. Like, it's not just a theory I have. It's like, I tried this. It worked. You guys should try it too. And that's what we do with training.
Do you ever have some of your top originators that try to compete with you, or then they say, oh, I want to be better than Neel, I can do it? Or maybe not only that, but then they get caught up and they want to be like a celebrity like you, and then they want to do the reels, and then they get too caught up just doing content and not actually executing.
Yeah, so I think people get caught up in the trying to be an influencer. So here's what I found out. Alex Hormozy was just here.
Yeah.
He spoke at the event and he said, you know what? The audience has changed, and all these people are all these fake influencers. The audience starts to know who's fake, who's real. So you know what I did before I started putting out content? I worked in the business for 10 years, figured out what to do, started to be successful. Then I'm sharing what I'm doing. So I'm actually doing the thing I'm talking about. You built your business at a high level and you're sharing information that helps, but it's a real person in the business and you're successful. So I think people want to learn from those people. The other people who haven't done the work yet, they want to be here before, right? So I'm doing like a small event this summer, not a small event, like a pretty big, like a medium event, I would say, not as big as Driven, but somewhere in the middle. and it's going to be badass. And then afterwards, the LOs are going to say, and the realtors say, hey, Neel, how do you do an event like this? I want to do it.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't see me with the events I did when nobody showed up. You know, the class where you have 5 people, or where you have nobody's there, or that where you couldn't even give a good presentation because you suck. So you have to start somewhere and then get there. I think everybody wants to skip the steps and go straight to being an influencer, but they didn't do the work yet.
Yeah.
So, but I think some of the LOs too, they like the fun part, but they don't want to do the hard part.
Building a large team. Did you ever have any people you had to cut? Like, did you ever have toxic people in your group?
So in the beginning, I just wanted to grow. So I just said, hey, everybody come, whoever wants to work. But then I found out some people, they don't want to work, and they just like to talk gossip, talk shit all day. So we had to cut some people, and some people just went away on their own. But I found out that that it's really important to have the right people. Otherwise, it's like a disease.
Yeah.
Because there's people that just want to talk shit all day long. So they, instead of working on deals, they come in here to talk shit about that guy. And did you know what so and so did? And they don't want to work. They just want to talk. And so we found that like the people we bring in now, we want to like do a little bit more due diligence, make sure it's a right fit.
Well, one of the biggest things I've learned that you're gonna run into, or if you haven't yet, is you got to do a lot of cleanup as you grow.
Yeah.
So I have Bobby in my corner, Bobby Castro.
Yeah.
And he was telling me like, Albert, right now is the time. You know how he gets? He gets all motivated.
PMA.
Like, Albert, you gotta cut all the bad people now. And he starts like, he gets pumped up about it, and he's like, this is the perfect time to clean up. So he's like telling me, and I'm like, Bobby, well, what you want me to just should I just get rid of everybody?
Yeah.
And he's like, yes, whoever doesn't fit, get rid of him. And then he told me it's all about culture, and and right now the company is like very, very clean. I'm not gonna say 100%, but it's very close.
Yeah.
Because some people that are producers, you gotta cut them if they're not if they're not all in, and when you have a strong culture, people like you said, they just fall off. They get intimidated by being around the culture because it's really intimidating because everybody is all in, and those 1 or 2 or 3 people, they just don't fit in anymore, and it stresses them out. And then also another thing is they can't keep up because we're going so fast paced and we're focused on growth, and we're just thinking like massive ideas, and then they can't take it, and it's crazy. It's kind of funny in a way, but it happens. But when the moment you clean up a cherry or whatever, like everything it's like it allows you to expand another 25%. It's weird, but it's something that has helped us a lot.
So you're saying sometimes you have to take a step back to go forward?
Not a step back. Like, let's say you cut a negative person or a toxic person.
Yeah.
We get 25% growth in production.
Because you're more focused then.
Yeah, because you're more focused, because there's less gossip, because there's less drama, because there's less energy spent on them. And it allows you to open up and focus on those 10%ers, those 5%ers. So that has been like that has been critical and the biggest lesson I've learned since we started. And if I could go back and fix something, I would have gotten rid of people like that instead of keeping them for so long.
Yeah, because it gets worse.
Yeah.
And so these people that are along the way that you lose, it's just part of growing, right? So
Yeah.
a lot of people said you hired the wrong person, or you had the wrong system or whatever. I've been just figuring it out as I go. Mm-hmm. So like first time we do like a class, we mess it all up.
Yeah.
The class sucks, but I can't get to a good one unless I do a bad one.
Yeah.
The first time, same thing with video. The video sucked. The event sucked, but then it got better. Like Driven, I remember at the beginning, each year it gets bigger and bigger and better. And last year, I don't even know how you can make it better than last year. Like that was insane.
Yeah, it'll be better. Yeah.
That's going to be crazy, right? So, but like, how did you get there? You had to go through all the other ones and learn.
And I want to talk about your event in a bit.
Yeah.
And I'll give you I'll tell you something really quick. I don't worry about the event till 60 days before.
Yeah.
So right now, I don't care about Driven 6, because I'm focused on my businesses.
Yeah.
Like I didn't create my wealth by being an influencer on social media. That helped me get known, but I created it by business, by creating businesses and I'm a business guy. So I'm really focused because I learned through experience that before I would let driven kind of take a lot of my time all year long. Now I know that all I need is to be laser focused for the 60 days prior to the event, and that's all I need. And then when you have all the systems and the manuals and just everything, you kind of have it already here because you've done it so many times, it becomes just easy.
Yeah.
And things are gonna go wrong every time. You're gonna have new little things that happen, but it's part of life. Things are gonna go wrong, but that's what I do. But we'll talk about that in a bit. To get all the business that you get, and all the revenue, you only work in California, or do you work nationwide?
So we work Nevada, California, Arizona, Washington. So we have multiple states. And I think what happened during COVID was you can't be tied to just one city, one little market. Because let's just say, for example, you're in LA, and LA is having a little bit of a slowdown, or the market's tight. Well, it might be booming in Phoenix, or it might be booming in Vegas. So what I found was, like, get some people in different markets, and also get your license in different markets. Like, I noticed you guys got licensed in Florida. Yeah. Florida is one of the top states right now, right? So look at the states that people are moving to: Florida, Tennessee, Texas, Idaho, Nevada, Arizona. So I started looking at all these different states, and we don't have a lot of business in those states, but we got the license there just in case. And then also we try and find a couple people in those markets that are in the city, so that way we can recruit there and start doing some business in those areas.
What do you say that, what would you say your percentages are of business? Is Nevada like
first,
the top?
Yeah.
Like, how much is that?
So that's probably like 70% of our business.
And what's the second best?
And then probably California.
Because what do you say that's like, what, 10%, 15%?
Yeah, 10, 15%. And then the rest is kind of just random deals, maybe Arizona, Texas. We do some deals in Texas. We actually just got a guy in Texas that I met through Instagram. Really good loan officer. He DM'd me from one of these DMs, and then he started doing good business there. So I think what happened post COVID is location doesn't matter. So even like in Nevada, we can do deals in other states. The clients don't care. They don't come in anymore. It's all done online. So you meet with them on Zoom, and that's it. And you do the calls. Yeah. And nobody wants to come to the mortgage office anymore. Like, how many clients come into the office? Not very many anymore. Maybe 10%, 20%.
It dropped a lot. Yeah.
Post-COVID.
A lot of people like the technology now. And that's why, like, what I see that is working a lot now is millennials. Like, there's a lot of millennial buyers.
Yeah.
And millennials, they like technology.
Yeah. And so, you know what? When I first started doing a lot of content, people said millennials are the target.
Yeah.
But the problem was everyone thinks millennials are broke. That's true. There's a lot of broke millennials. But there's a lot of rich millennials now.
Yeah.
Because they got older. So think about millennials. I think it's ages, something late 20s to 40. That's the millennial right now. So the people in the late 30s that are successful, that have good jobs, they have money, they have stocks, they have wealth. Like, those are the clients. That's the biggest group of home buyers right now, is the affluent millennials. So I noticed this. We create a lot of content for millennials. And most millennials are broke, but that's okay, because if you create the content for all these people, you're gonna find the ones who can do deals with you.
Yeah. Plus, back in the day, like when we both started, like almost 20 years ago, people didn't have Zoom or technology, so you had to meet with them face to face.
Yeah.
Because most people, especially for me, they wanted to meet face to face, especially the Latino community. Now it's a lot different. So I think it gives you so much more options to do more business. Now, what's better, being a realtor or a loan officer?
I'd say loan officer, straight up. For most people, loan officer. Now, there's a certain group of realtors that scale their business, that it might be better for them. But most realtors, I notice, they don't scale their business. They just want to do a deal. And when you first look at it, realtor makes this, loan officer makes this, loan officer makes less. But a loan officer can get business from everywhere. So if I look outside right now, where can I get business from? I can get business from realtors. I can get business from clients. I can get business from social media. I can get business from CPAs, financial advisors, attorneys, builders. Everybody can send a mortgage referral. When you're a realtor, it's a little bit smaller, right? You can only get deals from your sphere, and you can expand that by doing the same thing, doing marketing.
Yeah.
But I think as a new person or trying to get successful, you can get more clients in mortgage.
Plus, as a loan officer, it's really easy to get licensed in many other states.
Yeah, realtors, you can't do that.
Yeah, where you could just get on a Zoom with people all over the states, and then you could just do the loans.
Yeah, so we meet with clients in Arizona. They don't care if you're in Nevada or California. They just want the deal done.
Now, what do you feel are the differences between being a mortgage broker versus a mortgage lender? What do you like better, and why?
So when you're a broker, unless you are a big broker, if you're a small broker, so like a lot of these guys switch to get their own broker license, like a mom and pop. Mm-hmm. Here's what happens: you get a client, you're trying to figure out where you can broker the deal. Now, one place you're checking all the different pricing. This company, this company, this company. And then, okay, this company has the best price. Well, I can't send the deal there because they don't close quick. So now I need to send it somewhere else. It's a little bit different. And then say you run into a problem on that deal. Unless you're a big broker, the company doesn't care. Yeah. So you can call the AE. You guys have an AE for your lender. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. They'll take your call. But if you're mom and pop, they don't. You get the voicemail. I
remember those days. Yeah.
Yeah. You don't get. Nobody cares. So you have a problem, and you got to close a deal in 21 days, and they treat you just like a number.
Yep.
So unless you're a big broker, I would say either work for a big broker or work for a banker. So when you're a banker, basically the difference is you can check all these different investors, but instead of sending the deal to the place, you just do it in-house. And so you can say, I'm a direct lender, we do everything in-house. And so I think the market's shifting, and the mom and pops are going to have a harder time because they can't give the same level of service. Mm-hmm. So what's cool about being a big broker or being at a mortgage bank is the service you can offer. You run into a problem, you can call somebody and get it done.
Especially right now, like in this market shift, recession, for somebody to start a brand new small broker shop, it's gonna be tough. Yeah. It's almost like jumping off the balcony right here. Yeah. Like, pretty much.
And people said, hey, it's just people don't understand. They're like, they think of small things always. So I have a sticker on my desk. It says, "Look for big opportunities." So everyone's looking for like the next $1,000, next deal. So they look at the one check and they say, well, if I had my own broker shop, I could save $2,000, right? Because then I could keep all this check. Well, they don't realize all these other problems, right? So a lot of people just always thinking small, and that's what keeps you stuck.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want my next deal. I want the strategy that brings me 100 deals. I want to build a team that can bring 1,000 deals. I want a relationship that can bring a lot of deals. And that's where people need to shift their thinking.
And it's like you, for example, you created the relationships.
Yeah.
You created the brand, and the company's been alive for many, many years, decades, right?
Yeah.
So like when people don't realize those three things. Like you have to create a brand from scratch, you have to create relationships from scratch, and then if you burn your bridges, then they're gonna shut down all the relationships that you could create.
Yeah.
And then you haven't been in business for that long. So in times like this where everything is changing and getting scary for a lot of people, what are you thinking? So like it just doesn't resonate to me. Like I don't understand.
People want to know who can invest in this market. So who can do marketing and all these things that we want to do in a tough market? Only people with deep pockets, money. You got to be a bigger company. You got to have culture. Yeah. How do you do culture? You have to spend money.
Yeah.
How do you do all these events? How do you fly your team to, where were you guys at?
Virgin Islands.
Yeah. You think mom and pop is flying to Virgin Islands? Like probably not, right? They're going to, what's the restaurant down the street? Maybe that. And then even then you got to split the tab. Everybody chip in, so this is just small thinking. Unfortunately, people think like very short-sighted, and maybe they're thinking that they're going to build a big company. And if so, go for it. I hope it works out. But for the average person, I'd say align with leaders that are doing
I think everybody has dreams, including dumb people.
Yeah.
But you also have to be smart, because you could accomplish your dreams within a company. Yeah. But people don't see that, and they learn the lesson the hard way. Like me and you have both been through lessons, so like we kind of understand it. But you can't buy experience. Like sometimes you have to go through that. But before we get to your event, because I want to talk about. There's this guy, #1 originator in the nation. He's a broker.
Yeah.
So this guy does, I believe, 500 fundings a month. And this guy, he meets with now 10% to 5% of his clients. I think you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And this guy, he said that the way he does it is nationwide. So I know that nationwide, I think brokers and lenders, they're both good. They both have pros and cons, but I definitely think that in order to become a $1 billion mortgage company, you need to be nationwide, and you have to have and you definitely have to be a lender.
Yeah.
Now, this guy, he does business. He said his what made him rich. He doesn't even speak English well. He doesn't speak English well, and it's not like he's he doesn't have any brand. He doesn't get any views on social media, nothing. But this guy is nationwide. So he said what makes him a lot of money is technology that he uses, and he's approved in every state. So when you do that, and he runs ads, but he's not known. So I think those two things, as somebody's watching this, nationwide and having the ability to be a lender, I think that's critical. Would you agree to that?
Big time, yeah. And if you can't go all 50, like even I've just noticed adding 10 states.
Yeah,
that's big. You know, so get as many, work with the company that's growing, that's adding more states, or that has all these states, and use technology. So if you want to run ads, that's one way. The other way is to do marketing on social, whatever way you want to acquire the client. But if you can acquire clients in multiple states, that's huge, because every market is different and there's always somebody buying. So you need the scale right now. So you think about, you're looking for a needle in a haystack, somebody who needs a loan. No more refis, purchase only. So how many times people buy a house? Once every 5 years? 7 years? So you're trying to find, most people, the reason they fail is they have a circle of friends, family. That's called your sphere. You look at your sphere and you're like, hey, who needs to buy a house? Maybe nobody needs to buy a house, unfortunately, right now. Maybe next month, a couple people. So what you need is a big sphere. Now you need a big sphere. And if you can add 10 states, 50 states, you have a huge sphere now. Now somebody's always needs to buy a house at some point.
So Neel, besides the plans, the plan that I have for you and me in the future, which we won't talk about it right here, but you make $4 million. I seen you fly private now. I know that feels amazing. How much money do you want to make more, and how bigger do you want to get? What are your future plans for the next year or two?
That you have? I think I noticed this. I don't know if you noticed this when you're at, like, say you make 3 million or 4 million or 5 million, life doesn't change much. So I think the next level has got to be tens of millions of dollars. How could you get to tens of millions of dollars? It's with big, huge scale. You got to have, like, instead of 20 LOs, you need 100, 200 loan officers, multiple states. That's how you can get to that next level of wealth. But right now, I've been focused on just growing. I have big goals, but then also just trying to stay focused on the day-to-day, because the market's changing. So I want to make sure that, hey, if I want to grow, but I don't want to grow so fast that people mess up and we drop all this. So we've been focused on growth, but I just would like to basically add more people, but add the right people, and just keep growing every day. So as long as we're moving in the right direction, I'm good with it. A lot of people just said they're coasting. The only way you can coast is downhill, right? No, there's no coasting up. So you're coasting slowly, either really fast or slow. And so people right now that just aren't doing anything, they're losing business. And so the business is going somewhere else. It's going to go to people who are aggressive. So I just want to make sure that we keep growing.
Plus you mentioned something important that I think is going to be very important. Having deep pockets, or being in a company or having partners that have deep pockets, because I think these next 6 months, at least the next 6 months, are going to be very exciting, because a lot of people that don't have any pockets, you're just going to see them crumble and fall. And there's going to be so much opening for business that you're going to take advantage of it. And that's why it's important when people like, Patrick that we mentioned talked about having 3 years, 2 years of reserves, because when things happen and changes, it's like an open game for you. Like there's no more competition, and you just go out there and take all the people.
You don't see the ads, you don't see the marketing, you don't see the events, because people stop spending the money.
Grant talks about when people contract, you expand.
Big time. Like, I just came to the office. I hadn't been here before. This is $100,000 a month office. So what are people doing actually in mortgage business right now? If you read the headlines, cutting space, cutting staff, contracting, say, hey, go work from home. We don't want to pay the lease anymore. So everyone's going to kind of contract, and I notice you're expanding. You're saying, hey, we want to hire people. We want more people. And so you can take the advantage. You take advantage from other people.
Yeah. So now, Neel, to close out,
Yep.
You're the type of guy that is not shy to spend money.
Yeah.
And I remember not too long ago you were like, "Hey Albert, I wanna invest I wanna invest with you," and you sent me a large wire, and that moment I was like, "Are you serious, Steph? Like he wants to do that," and I'm like, "Damn, you know what? I respect him for that. Like this guy, instead of asking, like most people do, they ask before they give. You were just like, hey, I'm gonna give, I'm gonna invest, and then you don't even have to ask. Then I'm like, hey, I want to do something with Neel. I want to, how can I help Neel?
Yeah.
And people don't realize that big principle of life that you should follow and you should adopt. Like give before you ask. You don't ask before you give. So you did that, and I really respect that. That just my respect for you just went higher when that happened. So now I feel obligated that I have to give back to you, and I want to help you as much as I can.
Yeah, man.
So speaking of that, though, you're having this forward event.
Yep.
And I know I'm one of the speakers,
Yep.
but you have incredible people like Gary V, you have Ed Milet, and many more. So can you talk about this event? When is it, and how can people get tickets? Why should people go to the event?
So when we talked, we started this whole conversation. He said, "What changed? Or why you changed from $300K to millions of dollars?" And it started from going to Driven, right? And people underestimate what's the value in going to events. The value in going to events is you are in a new place. So right now you're sitting in your office with the same people. Leave, go to a new city or go to a new place, and you sit down with people that are interested in growing their business, and you're hearing from the best people in business, not mortgage or real estate, but in business in general. Like Gary Vee is one of the best. He runs a marketing agency that's one of the best in the whole world, and he's considered one of the top marketing guys. Ed Milet, same thing. I think Ed Milet is close to a billionaire.
Yeah.
If he may be a billionaire, I don't know. But these guys
just bought an island.
Yeah. I mean, this guy flies around on a global jet, I think. So these are the people at the highest level. So they're going to be giving you strategies, and they're going to give you advice. And then there's also going to be speakers that are not billionaires that are going to give you, that are maybe worth 10 million or 100 million. They're going to give you tactics. So you're going to learn the information. But the big thing that people don't realize at events, it's not necessarily the guys on the stage, it's the people next to you. Mm-hmm. So I've gone to, every time I go to a Driven event, I meet other people who we can do business with.
Yeah.
Like you can meet realtors, you can meet other referral partners. Even if you're a real estate agent, other real estate agents refer business between states.
Yep.
You can ask a guy who's crushing it, hey bro, can we jump on a Zoom? I'd love to help. I'd love to learn what you're doing. He's going to jump on a Zoom with you, and you've been facing a problem for a year. He's going to fix it for you in one call, right? Because he just fixed it in his business. So the networking has been huge. And so the way I do networking is I always reach out to people, ask how I can help first. Like you just said, give first, then they're going to want to help you. So I do that a lot. But you're going to get information from the stage. You're going to get good networking. And it's going to be one idea. It's going to be one business connection. It's going to be something that clicked. Maybe you heard something, Gary Vee said it 10 times, but he says it different on that day, and it hits. So that's why I love going to events. But the event is in July. It's in Las Vegas, Resorts World. It's a brand new 5-star resort right across from the Wynn. This place is amazing. Like if you want to, it's just a one-day event. So it's Friday. You can hang out for the weekend, go to the pool, go to the club.
Is there still more tickets?
There's a few tickets left. So I announced this event with this lineup.
Yeah.
Albert, all these guys on the lineup, and we just started selling tickets fast, like very quickly. And then right now we have about 100 tickets left. It's a 700 ticket event. 700 people.
And then you said something that just stood out. Like as a loan officer, you could meet realtors from other states in events.
Yes.
That you could do business. All you got to do is take the courses. Take the courses and apply for the state license.
Easy. And then you know what these guys are at the event? You experience something with them. So say you're sitting here, this guy's sitting here, and Gary Vee makes you cry at the event or whatever. Ed Milet makes you. We're kind of like bound to, we have a good relationship now. And then all you have to do is one thing. And I'll tell you what, 95% of people won't do this. After the event, you're supposed to follow up, send a message. So I don't give business cards. Don't even have business cards. Just get their cell number.
I'm going to show this to Syl.
Yeah, just text. Be like, yo, Albert, what's your cell number? I'm going to text you. And then you send a text with your name, and then you guys share the information.
Yeah.
Or here's your number. You put it in my contacts. Afterwards, make sure you follow up with everybody. Hey, let's jump on a Zoom call. Hey, bro, really good meeting you. Let's jump on a call. Set up a time. Put it on the calendar, and then follow up. If you follow up, it's gold.
And you know, a lot of times I told like Ty Lopez, Ed Milet, Oscar, I said, hey, send me do I send you a DM on Instagram or follow me on Instagram so we could stay in touch? He's like, fuck that shit. Let me text me. And then without asking for their cell, they give me their cell because I bring up Instagram. So like it works really good. But two takeaways or two big tips that you'll give loan officers watching this before we go.
Yeah, so just do the thing you said you're going to do, follow up with more realtors, and then I would tell people right now is the time to get out there and make more relationships. So there's going to be realtors who are working with a lender who's a dinosaur. You talk about dinosaurs?
Yeah.
These are guys who aren't going to do any more marketing. So they've been through all the ups and downs. This is going to be a little bit of a down year for the industry. It's going to get harder. They're going to quit.
Yeah.
They're just going to ride out, coast. And they're coasting down. You pick up their relationships. So that guy I met at the country club, he has a lender he's worked with forever. I'm going to meet that guy for lunch on Tuesday. I'm his new lender. I'll tell you right now, I'm his lender.
Yeah, because a lot of these people are knocking at doors while you're getting like 10 deals from having thousands of people looking at your stuff.
Yeah, so just do things that would save you time. So if people say, I don't have time to do video, the video saves you time. So look for bigger opportunities. Look for ways you could speak to more people. If you're going to speak to one client, why don't we make it a webinar and speak to 40 clients?
Yeah.
So go in your DMs. I don't care if you have 100 followers. There's probably 10 people that will come to the webinar. Get these people, and then those 10 people, have you or your assistant ask those 10 people, hey, bring a friend. Hey, bring somebody to the class. It's free. It's Zoom. And then now you got 25 people on the Zoom call, and you spend 1 hour still. So whether you're talking to one person or 25 people, you may as well talk to more people. That's why I love video. While we're doing this podcast, I guarantee you somebody's watching one of Albert's videos. I know your YouTube just blew up. I saw one of your videos got like 1 million views. Is that right?
Yeah.
So people are watching your videos while you're sleeping. Mm-hmm. That means that like you're making relationships while you're asleep.
Yeah. That's
crazy. So that's what you need to start doing.
And what people have to understand too is that it takes time. Like people want to become millionaires or get 1 million views or that from one day to the next or 1 year. It takes years for that. It took you years to build yours. Now, Neel, to close out, what's a story that nobody knows about you that you never shared publicly, and where can people follow you?
So you can follow me on Instagram. It's at Neel Home, and if you guys want to come to the event and meet, you can meet Albert, meet me. It's forwardevent.com.
I'll put the details down below.
Yeah, and so a story
like
that
something that nobody knows, like maybe not even your wife.
Oh shit, that's deep.
Something you did or something that happened to you.
Well, my wife actually knows this. So I think a lot of people talk about only the good things that are happening in business. Mm-hmm. I'll tell people, just keep it real. I remember putting in the work and getting so focused on growth and work that at one point my wife locked me out of the house. So she said, look, if you keep doing all these things and it's like, you know how people say, hey, I'm going to do business, but I'm going to be at all the games. I'm going to come to the soccer. Yeah. I'm a good thing. I was actually having a hard time doing everything. So I said, look, I'm going to have to focus on business, but at the same time, I'm not going to have as much time for family. It's not forever. It's just because of that growth period. So during that time, it was pretty hard. Like I come home and, there's a code for your garage to change the thing and change the door. Like I couldn't even come in the house, and said, look, if you don't start spending more time with your family, so then it was kind of a wake up like, hey, I need to try and do both and not be so focused on business. But people think it's easy. It's not easy, man. You have to put in some work, and there's a lot of problems you face along the way.
Yeah. Well, Neel, I'm glad that she let you back in.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, bro.
You're awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.